Hi guys. So I have a rant about being an entrepreneur. So my boyfriend and I, we used to work together where I quit my job as a pharmacist. So one of our co-workers last night asked him about how I'm doing. We didn't want people to know that we're dating just because it's work and that place is so small. People gossip and say all kinds of things. They love drama there, so we just don't want anyone, whatever. The point is, this woman who I used to be really good friends with didn't know that I'm dating my current boyfriend. So she was like, "Oh, don't you talk to Janine? How's she doing?" So he told her I was doing fine. I'm doing great. I quit my job. I'm doing wonderful. Whatever. And then she was like, "Oh, so what does she do for work now?" And he said, "Oh, she sells stuff on Amazon." Which is true, that's what I do. But the response from the woman was, "Come on." She didn't say it, but her attitude speaks for itself. What she meant was, "Come on, she's better than that. There's no way that's what she's doing." As if like being a seller on Amazon is so crappy. I guess there's no prestige in telling people I sell stuff on Amazon. All of us know someone who like sell random shit on Craigslist or eBay. We don't know anyone who's doing it and making a killing. We've done it. Most of you guys have probably once or twice sold something on eBay, maybe a few times on Craigslist, or maybe a couple of times on Amazon. But yet you're not rich from it. You're not wealthy from it. You're not financially free from it. So I guess to you, or to most people, I sell stuff on Amazon refers to someone who's struggling and didn't have anything else to do and can't find a job. So they just like scrape by selling whatever they have in their house. And there's no shame in that. I've done that before when I was in college. However, this just goes back to all this beef I have about being an entrepreneur. She didn't bother asking him, "Oh, that's cool. How's she doing with that?" Or, "Oh, and she was able to quit her job from selling Amazon? That's amazing. How did she do that?" Like, instead of sparking curiosity as to like how did this pharmacist who makes $120,000 a year quit her job 9 months ago and replace that income and some by selling stuff on Amazon. That must be intriguing, isn't it? But that's not how they think. Probably think I'm like some struggling person just barely scraping by because all I do is sell stuff on Amazon. I guess I can confuse people by making it fancier and say I'm a private label seller on e-commerce or something fancier sounding than that. But what's the point? People who aren't entrepreneurs don't understand entrepreneurs. We think differently. We're different people. I know for a fact, that if I ever meet any of you guys right now who are entrepreneurs, who are into ClickFunnels and trying to make a business from online, any of you guys who are in any of the Amazon selling training programs, when I tell you that I was able to figure it out and make it work, and I was able to replace my income as a pharmacist, maybe that would be very intriguing to you and you'd be very interested in how I did it. But most people aren't. The rest of the world aren't. And forever I'll just be someone who sells stuff on Amazon. Not that I need that prestige, however, I don't need people thinking that either. I guess I should have enough confidence in myself to not care. But it's hard. I keep telling myself, don't care what they say, don't care what they think. But it's hard. It's hard when it's someone I know really well who thinks that, when my previous co-workers think that, and it's even more difficult when my parents think that. So there was this one time, right, I was at Starbucks. I'm talking to the barista. We usually have a good conversation. I go there a lot. I bring my laptop and a heated blanket. yeah, I bring a heated blanket to Starbucks. I look ridiculous, and I know that, but it gets really uncomfortable in there. It gets super hot in there. And you guys ever realize that like the first hour you're okay, and then it gets really, really, really cold? Did it just say hot? I meant cold. Like my fingers, I can't even like type. There are days where I would get so uncomfortable, I have to leave because I'm so cold. Therefore, I go there with a heated blanket, my laptop, notebook, and stuff, and I work. I'm there 5 to 6 hours a day, 3 to 4 hours some days, at least 3 times a week. I go there so much, I should probably pay them rent. But they're really cool about it there. I know the manager and the baristas who work there. So one time, right, this customer sat right next to me on like the bar seating area. She heard what we were talking about. She only heard enough of it to know that I sell stuff. So she was like, "Oh, what do you sell?" So I told her what I sold. And then she was like, "Oh, give me your store name. How would I find you?" I really didn't care, but it was also rude to like say, "Don't worry about it." So I gave it to her, and she writes it down. She was like, "I really like to help." What did she say? She didn't say entrepreneur. I really like to help people who start on their own. She didn't say it with the kind of disdain I'm saying it right now, but she said it like with like a I want to help you struggling artist kind of way. And I'm like, lady, I didn't say this to her, but in my head I'm thinking like, lady, I had over $250,000 in revenue last December. Last month I hit close to that number again in January. So I really don't need your support. But I didn't want to say anything, so I didn't. But I'm sure that's what people think when I say I sell stuff on Amazon. It's almost not fair, you know, like I'm driving my Altima. It's a 2010 Altima. I paid for it when I got my first job 7 years ago. I'm going to drive that thing to the grave. I'm not going to buy myself a super nice brand new car just because I can, so I don't. And it's almost like I can drive an Altima, and as soon as people hear that I'm a pharmacist, you know, their attitude changes. They're like, oh. However, being an entrepreneur is almost like, unless I'm driving a Bentley or like a Maclaren or a Tesla, I'll never get that. Ever. And I almost want to go buy a freaking McLaren just to get that. But I know I shouldn't need that. I shouldn't need to have stuff. I shouldn't need to prove to other people that I'm doing well. But it wouldn't hurt. It really wouldn't hurt to have a few people. So the other day, right, my family, there's 8 siblings in my family. We pool money in together to buy my parents like Christmas gifts and birthday gifts all the time. So we were putting in money to buy for this last December, we bought my mother a Canadian Goose jacket. It was like over $1,000. So each one of us had to pay like 100 something. So this time, we were going to buy her for her birthday an LV purse, Louis Vuitton, an LV clutch she wanted for weddings and occasions like that. So that's quite expensive, you know, $1,500, maybe $1,000. So my brother bought it, sent out like a family text saying, okay, each one owes blah blah, $160. And then my older brother, who is currently not working because he's still looking for a job, he was like, hey guys, I still work for Uber. I have a son to raise and a family to pay for. I would appreciate it if the next time you guys buy presents to take that into consideration. Oopsies. And I'm sure, you know, it sucks that he has to say that. He shouldn't have needed to say that, but he did. And so then my other sister chimed in, and she was like, oh, you know, Janine is a stay-at-home mom. She should be excused too. If only she knew. If only she knew. Just because I don't have a big fancy house or drive a big fancy car, I must be struggling, right? I must have no money, right? I must, because all I am is a stay-at-home mom. I quit my job, became an entrepreneur, got quite good at it, and now with my kids all day long, we do story time every single night, and I love it more than anything in the world. and I've been reduced to the stay-at-home mom. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said it that way. I have a lot of respect for stay-at-home mom because I know how difficult that is. Trust me, I know. It's a lot more work than going to work. I know that for a fact. I have a much easier time going to work, 9 to 5, 40 hours a week, even 50 hours a week, than I would if I were like actually a full-time stay-at-home mom. I can't do it. So I have so much respect for people who do. So don't get me wrong on that. That's not how I meant it. My point is, unless I have a big, crazy, fancy car or a big, crazy, fancy house, in the eyes of everybody, I must be struggling. I must be a struggling artist. I must be a struggling stay-at-home mom who doesn't have a husband because I'm divorced. Poor me. That's my rant for today. I don't know why I had to say it. If any of you guys out there feels that way, any entrepreneur out there who feels that way, please leave me a comment, send me some love. I would really like that. Let me know how it is for you. Tell me your story. I would really like that.